Hey, it's the Redeye stream number 96. So Trump wants to execute drug dealers. Um, I hope he's going to walk this one back. I really am. But I mean, part of that speech was really good, where he's like, "Let's build the damn wall and win the war on drugs." I'm against the war on drugs, but even I kind of was like, "Well, that's kind of cool. At least he's being strong." But then he goes into, "Let's execute heroin dealers and people that sell fentanyl," which is usually doctors that are selling that. Like, that's how Michael Jackson died from it, is because a doctor was illegally prescribing it to him.
So a doctor killed him as a murderer does.
Okay. Then maybe you could have that argument, but the heroin dealer, MC, you're not going to convince me.
He said opiates, number one, and number two is he said also, which you're conveniently leaving out. Not saying that I'm for this, by the way, but you're conveniently leaving out. He said in extreme cases.
Well, what constitutes an extreme case?
Exactly.
Well, I honestly actually know a little bit about this. Oh, sorry, MC. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to say one more comment. And one final thing. He is the president of the United States. He doesn't get to decide what the laws are in the country, unlike apparently Mad Dodge thinks they do.
Well, okay, first off, I'm having a shitty day, so I want to rail against the president a little bit. How dare you deprive me of my American right, MC? God damn it.
I'm not Google.
MC, can you clarify what you just said, your position?
Yeah, everyone keeps wanting to talk about Trump, all right? In order for Trump to in order for you to enact an idea that heroin dealers could be executed, okay? You would have to pass legislation. It would have to go through Congress. They would have to pass that law.
Yeah, that shit's a cruel and unusual punishment. It wouldn't go anywhere.
It's not like he can make the decision on his own to do this.
It's inflammatory that he said it. I mean...
Well, he does it to get a rise out of people, to get a conversation actually going in a lot of cases, all right?
I don't know if it's a conversation or he's just fucking retarded. I don't know. I mean, I would be retarded if I was fucking some bitch named Stormy Daniels. I mean, come on. Sounds like a horse. However, I
probably rode like one as well.
Oh, yeah. That bitch looks like a leather handbag. I'm sorry. I would have chose a hotter bitch for me.
It's a glove won't fit, right?
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
So I'll toss this out there. I actually agree with the idea that drug dealers and heroin addicts should be executed.
Ooh.
So do I.
Okay, well, let me put it like this.
Wait.
I know firsthand.
Well, let's do this on the stream when it's live. It should be good.
No, this is live.
Honey,
it is live.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
Oh,
I missed you.
No, but okay. The dealer, I think you may be trying to make an argument. If a guy is selling messed up heroin that people are dying from because it's tainted, maybe I could see that argument. I'll still argue against it. But you're talking about addicts? Like people that freaking are physically addicted, you would kill them too?
Well, let me put it like this. Well, hold on,
yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. I threw this out there. I'm going to finish it. Okay, so my point is that over in the Philippines, their president that just got elected a year or two ago decided to fix his police corruption problem and his drug problem in his country by saying point blank that if you are caught dealing drugs and if you are caught with a significant amount of drugs, you'll be executed right on the spot. Summary execution right then and there. Now,
yeah, and he's a crazy bastard.
Yes, but in the 2 intervening years, police corruption has basically gone the way of the dodo, and the drug epidemic that was starting to become a serious problem in the Philippines is starting to basically go back to almost nothing.
Okay.
Now, okay, go.
No. Finish your point.
Okay, well, the thing of the issue is that with opiates, I mean, all you have to do is make the threat that you're going to, the punishment is death, right? Because if somebody is so willing to continue getting high, they're so invested in it, whether it's a physical addiction or not, the threat is there, right? So if somebody's willing to choose drugs over their life, then they're going to choose drugs over their life no matter what. And the problem is that rehab facilities don't have a great success rate with opiates.
They don't have a great success rate, period.
Well, yeah.
Well, it depends on how you define it, I guess.
Okay, can I throw this out there? Have you ever been to the Philippines?
Have I been there? No.
I have. It's a fucking shithole. Regardless of what he's doing, shooting people on the spot, whatever, he's still a terrible person. For one. For two, he's not doing jack diddly shit with their economy. And for three, it's a fucking shithole.
No, and I want to add to that. I would argue that the drug problem is not going away. What you're making is the corrupt police officers smarter. The ones that survive, that keep up their corruption, survive, so then they get smarter, and it's harder to catch them. And you run the drug trade even more underground than it already was, which is going to make it worse in the long run, especially when it comes to health and the spread of HIV and other diseases.
Well,
in the Philippines, the spread of HIV is probably not through intravenous drug use mainly.
No, it's for interpenis relationships.
It's
almost everywhere else.
It's because of those faggots we were talking about earlier.
Well, I was just talking about the prostitutes, to be honest.
That are, faggots.
Yeah.
It's whatever you want it to be.
No,
HIV is a penis and anus friction-based disease.
They've got them lady boys there, just like they do in Thailand. Trust me, I've seen it. It's awful.
There's no such thing as chicks with dicks, just dudes with boobs.
No, I just said lady boys. That's what they're called in Taiwan and in those places.
I mean, let's just call a spade and not a bevel-edged digging implement with a wooden handle.
I mean, you can piss and moan about the fucking language all you want. That's just what they call them. I don't give a fuck.
The Duarte is, first of all, summary executions, what they're doing. All right. And you talk about lack of police corruption. All you're doing is establishing one man on top. It's not necessarily that there's a lack of corruption. It's the fact that it's government-sponsored terror. And so when you talk about corruption, it's his way, and as long as it's his way, it's not corrupt. Now, he probably doesn't like drugs. That's probably very true. Okay? I mean, for whatever reason, he has a hard-on. It could be that they're competitors he's trying to remove out of the way. It could be that he's seriously wanting to get rid of drugs. I disagree with Mad Dodge's assertion that it's just going to drive it underground, which will make it worse in the long run, in a certain sense. What's worse in the long run is the fact that you basically just said, for whatever I determine, we're just going to do summary execution. So the next person who gets in charge can now say, well, since I don't like the color blue, whoever I see wearing the color blue, I'm going to summarily execute. I mean, it sounds like it sounds absurd, but that's the kind of power you just granted to somebody to say, okay, they're going to go around, and if they see somebody that's doing drugs, they're going to execute them. Now, the police are going around having to execute people and basically turning them into, if I see you and I don't like you, I shoot you and then claim there was drugs on you. This is not a good thing. This is a state of terror.
Yeah, but it sounds like our president's been having a few good calls with the Filipino president.
I think that he's sitting up there just saying things because in the United States today, because one of the things Donald Trump loves to listen to more than anything else is the sound of his own voice.
And Alex Jones.
I don't know if he listens to Alex Jones or not. But
Get
Alex
them
Jones,
10 foil hats on, bitch.
I don't think that there's any real concern that's going to happen here in the United States at this point in time.
What, shooting people, like shooting drug dealers on site?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be summary executions for drug dealers on site.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Unless the FBI continues the way it's going, that might be, then maybe. But I think we're still a little ways away from that yet.
Well, and even if he were to somehow get the approval of of whatever legal implements we have in place, I don't think most cops would be willing to do that.
Well, and MC, I just want to respond a little bit. I think it will drive the black market even more underground, and not only that, execution has not been shown to lower the rate of murders. How is it going to lower the rate of selling drugs?
See, incorrect, because immediate execution often does lower the rates of criminal activity very quickly. This is why you don't see it in certain other places. And I'm not saying this is a good thing, and I'm not saying that this is what I want here in the United States. But one of the biggest problems are you're comparing apples to oranges. Now, granted, there are different societies, and different societies will have different reactions. That's very true. Right, but in areas where you have very fast and very swift, harsh punishments, that activity is almost nil. Whether it's prostitution, whether it's stealing, or whether it's defaming Muhammad, you don't see a lot of people running around Saudi Arabia saying, "Like a 9-year-old." And the reason for that is because if you do, they immediately haul you off and execute your ass.
That's true. Well, there's also the aspect of mental conditioning. I was reading this one story from I think maybe a year ago, and this small 9-year-old child had done something to disgrace the name of Allah, and he literally cut off his own left hand, and was beaming at the fact that his father was proud of him. So I mean, you don't have too many drug addicts cutting off their arms so they can't shoot heroin.
Dude, I would be so fucking proud of my kid if he did that shit. That shows a level of dedication that you really just can't find in kids these days.
That shows a level of insanity.
Wait, what level of what?
This fucking, apparently this kid in Saudi Arabia cut off his left arm or some shit like that because he took, I don't know, I was kind of half listening, but something to do with the Ooga Booga, camel jockey religion. Of course.
Something like that.
Cool. So, dead air.
Yeah.
Not really. Well, although Mad Dog seems to have left the arena for a little bit, unfortunately, which is unfortunate because he was one of the ones arguing, against this, and he's going to leave it to me. And to be honest,
he gets murdered by his grave, man. I don't know. Oh, you go somewhere with that.
Okay.
Well, it's got to be unconstitutional or something, right? So,
Yeah,
some
shit like that.
Summary executions. I don't know. Does it violate the 10th Amendment?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, the way I look at it, I think our whole death penalty situation is, but I think the laws allow it to drag on too far. I think we should streamline that process. I'd be fine without summary execution, but if we could just, speed up our whole death row situation, that'd be ideal.
Oh, like Texas, fucking put an express lane in that bitch.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you that if you're gonna, I think one of the biggest problems that we have in our justice system today is the fact that they've allowed lawyers to intentionally drag out law to such a degree that you're not getting justice done. Now it's not as bad as it is for
put lawyers out of helicopters.
But it's still pretty bad. You go on trial. By the time you're on trial, it's 1.5 years, 2 years after you've been arrested for this crime and arraigned.
Mad Dog, I think you should get someone else on your team. Maybe.
Oh, I'm always arguing by myself. Whatever. I think it's wrong to execute somebody for selling something. Because if that person doesn't sell them heroin, they will find somebody who will. And there will always be somebody who will.
And then you shoot that heroin dealer. And then you shoot that heroin dealer.
I mean, the whole false dichotomy of if somebody doesn't do it, somebody else will fill the market is it's a weak sauce kind of limp dick argument. because at the end of the
How?
day, you need to draw a
No,
line.
look at the gangs that get busted, wiped out, right? The next day, the drugs are still fucking on the market, man.
I was about to
Why?
say, throw that back to the
Because they
mob.
always fill the fucking slot, man. They always fill the slot.
Way back in the day, the mob fucking filled the slot for whatever the fuck you wanted.
Well, but at the same time, you were not arresting them in mass, and you weren't just summarily executing them either.
True.
And so if you come back with something that's very quick and very swift, okay, yes, Mad Dodge is right. There will be somebody that's going to be willing to step it in. The difference, though, is the price of that is extraordinarily high as well. You're not going to sit up there and find dime bags anymore. It's going to probably cost you $300 to $400, for example.
Dime bag is weed, you fucking homo.
Sorry. I don't know all of that.
Come in all formats.
I've never heard like an ounce. I've heard like an ounce for coke or whatever, but I've never heard a dime bag for heroin or whatever.
Never gotten a dime of heroin?
No, I have not.
You need to get out more.
Oh yeah, that's what I fucking need to do.
No, I agree with MC in the sense that if we do decide to do something that harsh with it, that the end result will probably not be something that's desirable here in America. Although I'll tell you what, it is fun to watch it play out on the world stage.
Yeah, because you're not personally affected. It's always fun to laugh at other people's misery, right?
Well, I mean, in a sense, yeah, but I mean, it's realistically, you know, there's no person on the face of the earth that grew up in Western society that doesn't know that heroin, meth, and coke are like the 3 worst fucking drugs you could ever do. You know, nobody who went to the public school.
Well, then why are they giving methamphetamine to our children in pill form and making millions off it?
Well, let me answer that. I actually have ADD, and I have to take Adderall to fucking focus. And, you know, I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, meth in and of itself, yeah, you can be really fucking productive on it, I guess. Just depends on how focused you are on what you have to do.
Well, the thing is, though, you pretty much have a government mandate there to where the government's allowed to sell these substances. Cocaine can even be prescribed still. Not that it ever is, but it could be. You know, so the government's allowed to do whatever it wants. But now you're talking about not only taking somebody's freedom for a predetermined amount of time for a crime, but executing them for something, on the other hand, the government does every day and allows big corporations to do every day.
Well, the difference here is that the Adderall that I pick up in a pharmacy, somebody didn't cook it up in a fucking tub in the middle of the woods.
You know why they have to cook it up in a tub? Because it's fucking illegal.
Well,
if you made it legal, everybody would be getting the pill form. Everybody would be getting the safer alternative.
And it would be sunshine and fucking rainbows if
it wouldn't.
Had
it wouldn't.
For legal.
Whatever. That's not what I'm saying. Are you an adult? Are you able to make the choice that you don't want to fucking be a tweaker? Because I'm able to make that choice. Come on.
Really? Okay, Mad Dodge, you say that you're an adult. When was the first time you smoked weed? Were you an adult?
16 or 17. I guess nowadays they consider them adults. They want to fucking vote, don't they?
Is the voting age 16? Is the age of majority 16?
They want to lower.
If you slept with a 16-year-old, would you go to jail?
Absolutely.
Okay, well there you go. Because sleeping with a minor and doing things with a minor, the problem when you start talking about drugs is susceptibility. Now, I don't believe the federal government has a place to be talking about drug control. I truly don't. I don't have a problem with states banning different substances that they see as problems within their state, however. Right? I don't like the federal government doing it because you see the kind of broad-based approaches that happen and what the results are.
No, and I would be totally willing to work with somebody like you that just bump it down to the states. That's a victory, and then let the states handle it. Let the people have their say in whatever state. I guarantee you heroin will be illegal in the whole country, probably. I doubt that will be overturned, MC. But marijuana will probably be legal everywhere. And maybe cocaine, maybe some of the ecstasy, maybe, mushrooms, some of these other substances.
Maybe not. It depends on how things would play out. I am not as sanguine as you are to think that marijuana would be legal across the nation.
I'm looking at the current trend, man, and it's already, you see the states fucking against the federal government.
You see a lot of things, too. You also see California sitting up there saying that they're going to sit up there and hire freaking illegal aliens, all right, as part of their government workforce. Intentionally.
Is that not a 10th Amendment issue, though? Which I don't agree with them.
That is not a 10th Amendment issue because a state does not have the right to determine someone's U.S. or citizenship in the U.S. or not. We had a war over that. It wasn't that long ago.
You're right.
Well, for
they
you,
would have to repeal. Yeah, they would have to repeal the 14th Amendment, right, to actually be able to do that.
They would have to repeal the 13th and the 14th, I believe. Possibly.
And I doubt they won that argument.
Yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But anyway, no. Look, Trump is just listening to his own voice. If he actually puts something together or actually puts a serious package that he then puts in front of Congress, then complain about it. Other than that, it's just words. When he sits up there and sends somebody to or vetoes a bill and says, no, you will sit up there and have executions for dealing drugs. When you see that bill that he refuses to sign, and when he takes some kind of legitimate action that's in his purview to do, that's when I would worry about what Trump is doing or isn't doing. I think I'd be more worried about Trump launching, Tomahawk missiles into places than I would be whether or not he wants to legalize or criminalize to such an extent the issue of drugs. But it still doesn't fix the real main problem that we have, which is in our justice system right now, it's so freaking long because of what they've done with the lawyers to get anything accomplished. You end up with a case where people get arrested and they don't even go to court for another 2-3 years. That shouldn't happen. And I don't care how much money you have. It shouldn't happen. Justice delayed is justice denied. Period. We all were worried about the states, the federal government or the state denying justice like they're doing to Count Dankula. And I can understand why people are saying that. But the opposite is just as bad on society. When people who can pay enough to clog up the court system with appeal after appeal or this and that go on, and juries take forever to do. I mean, it's just as bad for society. So, yeah, there's going to be problems no matter how the court systems do things, or nothing's going to be perfect. But swift justice, in many cases, is a far better avenue to approach things with. It really is. Start denial of some of these appeals.
Yeah, no, and you're right. Like, Trump can't just immediately start executing people. That kind of rhetoric is what took me aback. You know what I mean? Like, even coming out with that type of rhetoric. It's
a bombastic type of speech that he does. Once again, this is who Trump is. He likes the sound of his voice. He likes listening. He's a braggart. He likes, this is bad. We should sit up there and hit it with a hammer. We should sit up there and smash it. Yes, it's disconcerting because he's the president of the United States and he has a lot of leverage to power, and it really bothers people when a president says something like this. But guess what? That's who we elected president.
Well, I didn't vote for him, but
yeah,
he is president.
You're still Americans. You still were part of the process.
Yeah, and I did vote, so that means I get to bitch about it. But no, let's pivot here. Last night, 2 more bombs went off in Austin, they are believing that they had trip lines set up to them for the detonation. Is there a serial killer going on? We got another Unabomber, MC.
You know, my mom said something like that. She's like, because we were watching the news together, and she's like, this sounds like the Unabomber.
No, it doesn't sound like the Unabomber. The Unabomber was targeting very specific groups of people. This is just terror.
Well, we don't know that for sure.
No, that's true. At this point in time, we don't know that. According to the latest bombings, that this was 2 white people that got hit.
But he is targeting a specific, or she, whatever, is targeting a specific area.
Appears to be, yeah. So from that standpoint, you're correct. All right, but I think that it's more just to terrorize the populace. I think it's a general terroring of the populace, to be honest. I don't think it's going to be somebody who comes back with some kind of political motivation, although a religious motivation wouldn't surprise me. But I mean, people talk about this device was sophisticated. I don't know what people think a sophisticated device is like.
I was about to say, okay, define sophisticated.
Well, right.
Yeah, because it didn't sound like it to me. It sounded like they hooked it up like old school with a trip line, and it was pretty weak. It didn't even kill the person, and we're talking about a bomb here.
Well,
so
when you're talking about bombs, I mean, if you're trying to kill people, you have to understand when you set up a trip line, you have to make it directional. All right, unless you're just trying to do a blast radius, in which case you got to have a powerful enough blast to do it. I don't know anything about this, but this doesn't sound like the explosive that they're using for the detonation does not sound like it's a type of normalized explosive. It sounds like at best it's pipe bomb like crap. You know, black powder or powder of some sort. It doesn't sound like he's dealing with Semtech or C4 or C2.
Yeah, and I would even like, I'm not a profiler. I'm not that smart. I wish I was. But if I was trying to profile this person, I would say that they were not ex-military. I think they would be able to make better bombs if they were ex-military. So I would at least strike that off my list. What do you think?
Depends. It could easily be ex-military because somebody just likes explosions and likes the fact that they figured out they could just use powder. Right now, if it's somebody who's got certain skills from the military, all right, then they're going to use a different type of explosive from the way it sounds. But one of the things that we don't know about, like I said, I'm just using from what I know so far in the reports. They haven't really talked about what the device is like. They haven't really talked about what kind of explosive is being utilized. Right? Even C4 can be, if you're using a small amount of it, won't be too, then you don't need a lot of it to do some of this stuff. I mean, you can trim it down just by lowering the amount of substance you're using for the explosive. Right? It's just that it's definitely not. You're definitely not seeing something with the explosive power of like a Claymore mine, right, or a grenade for that matter.
Yeah, the Boston bombers had more of an impact than whatever the fuck this is happening.
Seems to be, yeah, I would agree with you. Which is why I said I don't think they're making C2 or C4 or anything like that.
Well, I mean, yes and no. The Boston bombing was a one-off. This is a whole neighborhood being terrorized, and now last night they had to stay in their homes till 10 a.m. That way they could search the neighborhood for bombs.
Yeah, but the Boston bomber did more damage in one hit. Was my point.
Oh, no, and I agree with you. I'm just bringing in the fear factor here. And I saw Coffee, you jumped in. What do you think about this, man?
This is the first I'm hearing about it, actually.
Austin, Texas.
You haven't been hearing about the bombings in Austin?
I've been working. I haven't been, binging on the news, so
He's
I don't know what the hell's going on. No. I want to know what's going on.
Okay, so apparently March, where's that fucking article? March 2nd and March 12th, there were package bombs, killed
Shit.
2 people. And then now today, was it today or yesterday?
Last night.
Last night.
Yeah, it was last night for me, early morning for Texas. They locked it down in the early morning, I believe.
Some asshole set a tripwire and kaboom. No one was killed, but it's in the same localized area of this neighborhood.
Interesting.
It's
So
weird.
it would almost seem like they were targeting someone and just hoping they would happen across it. I don't think it's like a generalized terror thing.
Well, there's been, what is this now? The fourth or fifth bombing?
Have they hurt anyone?
Oh yeah, they killed 2 people. They put 2 in the hospital.
Yeah.
Well, this last one put I think 2 in the hospital, didn't it?
Killed 2 black people at the beginning.
Right, and had injured 2 more.
Yeah, a Hispanic woman. I know that a Hispanic woman died too.
So I mean, yeah, there's been deaths, there's been maimings. So they found there was one explosive that went off that nobody was really hurt. And I think this last one last night, I think there was one explosion, but they found another device. Is that correct?
Huh.
I believe so.
So yeah,
That's
there's
crazy.
Yeah, and everyone's keeping pretty tight-lipped about it.
Why aren't they sit up there talking about the Austin's motto? Austin City motto: keep Austin weird. Okay, got what you wanted.
Portland.
Yeah, I thought that was Portland.
Oh no, Austin, Texas. They have T-shirts and everything, even in the airport. Keep Austin weird.
Oh, well.
Sounds like you got some competition there in Oregon.
I think Oregon wins.
Hey, we won something! Yay!
Fucking hippie commune bullshit, faggots.
Bisbee wannabes.
Well, no, and,
we lost Stonewall.
no, and
Because that kind of...
well, no, and I just want to bring this up too. This doesn't only have the Austin area jumpy; it has the whole country jumpy. A homeless guy fucking put a couple backpacks, tied them up to a bridge or whatever. I don't know, maybe to store them there. He's a fucking idiot, and he got caught with meth on him, so he was probably high. But they literally blew up his backpacks with the fucking bomb robot because they thought it was a fucking bomb in there on the bridge going across the Columbia River. Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I looked at where they had placed that one picture that shows where they placed it on the bridge. It does look like somebody's trying to place a device on a span, not that just somebody was just hanging something there. You know. So
to be fair,
I'd have been a bit cautious with it as well. Now, I'm not sure. In that case, I would have caused the device to explode. I think in this case, I would have tried to get the device away from that span, because let's assume that there was explosive in it and you detonated that off. You would have that area would have been closed for however many weeks. All right, because you couldn't drive on that span anymore. Not if you knock out one of the support legs. I'm not saying it would have brought the bridge down, but you sure as hell don't want to see how safe it is to drive across it.
Fucking Mothman. Sorry.
Bigfoot on a bender.
No, in I think it's West Virginia or whatever the fuck, that bridge collapsed and they blamed it on the Mothman.
Yeah.
Fucking what? Crazy.
But I figured since it was Oregon, we would sit up there and just blame Bigfoot. Bigfoot's found explosives, so now he's going to take out humanity.
I bet it's Mad Dog. Mad Dog, quit fucking around over there, Jesus.
No, but I mean, that's just how jumpy the whole country is now about bombs. So, there is a bright side to this story. They're talking about bombs and not guns. I like that.
How the hell have I literally heard nothing about this?
You've been working, dude. We just suck at life.
No announcement, no company-wide emails. No
yeah,
nothing.
it's funny because it was kind of low key on the radar. Like, I just tripped on it like digging through some articles. Kind of strange, right?
I heard it on the radio, so I mean,
Well, no one listens to the radio, okay, old man.
Yeah, who the hell listens to the radio?
Fucking old guy over there.
yeah, you got a point. You definitely
Where'd the other guy go? He was fun.
Stonewall. He had a
Yeah.
box.
That's
No, I wanted to talk about your drug dealer problem.
Oh, yeah, you can go ahead and dive into that. But I do want to know your guys' ideas real quick. Do you think it's a serial killer, or do you think there's a bunch of copycats going on?
I think it's some asshole playing with something he shouldn't be playing with.
I think it's somebody that's doing this. I don't think it's a serial killer in the mindset of people thinking about the way people think of serial killer. But I do think we have a serial bomber. I do believe that. I believe this guy is going to keep building bombs and just setting them off wherever. He may have started here, but I guarantee he's going to go, oh, look at the notoriety that I'm getting. I'll bet he starts putting it in other areas.
What about Timothy McVeigh?
If it was a Timothy McVeigh thing, it would be focused more on government facilities and a government type of. There would have to be some tie to the government, just like with the Unabomber. The Unabomber was bombing very specific targets, and we don't see that yet. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible, but we don't see that yet, at least from what the press is telling us, at least from what the police have released.
And I'll add one more thing to this, and then we can change subjects. When I first read about it, I was like, this is very reminiscent of Charles Manson and his little faggot group, where when they killed the Sharon Tate murder, they killed her and everyone else in that house, and they wrote pig and Black Panthers and all other shit, trying to blame the blacks to start the race war, right?
Right. Helter Skelter.
Yeah, all that faggot shit. And it got me thinking, it's like, well, maybe this dude or chick or whatever is just trying to spark some kind of, because I've read several articles that it's these white guys, it's these black guys, but there's no real concrete evidence as to either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could see something like it's possible it's something like that. It's impossible to say.
Yeah, it's just conjecture, like I said. So, coffee. Go ahead.
Stuff and junk. No, but when you were talking about killing drug dealers and stuff, I said in the chat. I don't know if anyone saw, but I'm like, you gotta start killing people if you're gonna be serious about something. Like, if you're serious about your drug problem, you need to start like really cutting down on the drug dealing population.
Oh my God! Please elaborate.
Well, it's just like the Holocaust, right? If you're serious about getting rid of something, you got to start killing them.
I wouldn't compare the Jews to fucking heroin dealers, but okay.
But,
I see your point.
It wasn't just the Jews.
I know.
It was undesirables, social undesirables.
True.
So that's my whole point there. Is like we're not really that serious about crime anymore because we don't kill our criminals. I mean, some states, sure, but
well, because we make too much money off of the private prison system.
Yeah, that's a whole other deal.
Yeah, that's a giant clusterfuck of epic proportions.
I would say probably the only thing of value that I've ever gotten from the Young Turks is one of their reports on just how long they detain people. And it's all going into like private prison funds. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of private prisons. I'm not a fan of prisons really at all. I'm not.
No, I mean, tar and feather people, put them in a pit and make them fight or something. But I mean, we got to stop spending money on our criminals. Like, I'm just so sick of it because it doesn't get any better either.
Agreed. Definitely agreed.
And then what? They want to whine and cry about recidivism rates. I'm like, just fucking kill them off.
It depends on, it depends on the crime. Like, the opiate issue in this country is astronomical.
Well, there's that, or there's like the illegals coming over, deportees 6, 7, 8 times. like just kill the motherfucker. Like at this point, he's not gonna, stay the hell out. He's
Yeah,
gonna
but
keep killing people, keep running drugs. Like, at some point, we just got to put our foot down.
Well, once you give the government, yeah, you can. Once you give the.
Sorry, I just wanted to.
Then what else are they going to have the power to kill people over?
God damn it.
What, is my mic messing up or something?
Yeah. I'm just saying, are you doing a slippery slope thing here? Because, I mean, at what point... I mean, these are criminals, by the way. It's not like,
Well, like, with the illegals coming over, we need to... Okay. We need to stop these businesses from advertising in Mexico to have them come up here. I mean, you've got GMC, you have Ford, you have Smithfield, you have a myriad of other corporations advertising in Mexico. Hey, we will bus your dumbass up here so you can work, or whatever. And if we detain, like, they have a deal where if they get a certain amount of illegals, they'll leave the production alone. Do you understand what I mean?
That's kind of mind blowing, though. I would think that the government would, maybe put their foot down on this.
Are you kidding?
If this
They're
is
making
real,
some money.
If this is real, like, we got Trump in there, right? We got the executive order. Was it in December about freezing assets of the human trafficking type people? I'm a little blown away that that's still happening and they're actually advertising. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, so GMC or Ford or whatever big industrial group is advertising in Mexico, hey, work for us and we will fucking carry your ass across the border to work.
I think I need to look into that a little bit more.
I am.
Well,
I'm Go ahead.
Yeah, if my mic's working again. When I left, the last thing I heard you say is these are criminals. Okay, Coffee. Do you want to know why the opioid epidemic has ballooned to the extent that it has? Because the pharmaceutical companies said that Oxycontin and stuff like that is non-addictive. And so they gave it out like Pez. And it addicted a whole group of people. And then they were like, oh, oops. It's addictive. It's pretty much fucking heroin. Our bad. Hey, doctors, stop prescribing it so much. And they cut off the supply. You turned a bunch of people with a legal prescription into heroin junkies. And now you want to kill them for it. I'm
not going to sit here and defend the FDA, but I mean, at some point, you've got to stop the epidemic. I mean, you can't say that all or most even, unless you've got statistics to back it up, at which point I'll walk it back, that these people that are addicted or dealing opioids are as a result of overprescription of Oxycontin. I don't buy that. Seriously.
Well, I don't know. That's the stories I've heard about it is they were literally just giving it out because supposedly it was non-addictive. And then they found out a year or so later that it is addictive and it is pretty much heroin.
The amount of how the FDA does drugs for the FDA to not know that it's addictive is ridiculous. I don't believe that story.
Coffee. I've posted several links in the side chat.
Yeah, I'm checking those out.
Yeah, I posted about Tyson because Tyson and Purdue are on the Eastern Shore, Virginia, and we see the signs advertising in Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I can take a trip up to the Eastern Shore, and I can take pictures and show you guys.
So what kind of signs? Like disembark here to work for Tyson?
Pretty much they'll like pay a certain amount of money for you to work and they provide housing.
Holy crap. crap.
Yeah, like I said, I will take a road trip up to Eastern Shore and take pictures.
No, that doesn't surprise me that Tyson would do something like that.
I mean,
it wouldn't surprise me if IBP or one of the other, any of the placking areas.
yeah, and Fox News. The first article is Fox News. These people had jobs before coming over illegally to the border.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude, it's bad. These companies need to be held accountable for this bullshit.
Oh, definitely.
Like, I think, I guess I'm the only one who, I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks what Donald Trump is doing with the tariffs. I'm like, yes, do it.
Oh, I am so happy with that. Did you guys, have you seen Semiagog's video about the steel tariffs?
No.
Phenomenal.
I heard that. I heard a lot of, oh my God, oh, the steel, oh God, and the blue jeans. Your blue jeans are going to go up.
Yeah, all of the views and the view clones, like, crying about this. And
you guys haven't been listening to the Redeye then, because we had an interesting discussion about that very thing.
Oh God.
No, I haven't been.
Oh God, tell me right now.
Oh, it's very simple. All right, you can't look at his tariffs in isolation. You got to look at it in a broader scheme of things. All right, there's nothing wrong with putting these tariffs in place right now, because he's done a couple of different things to try and do this. One is he wants manufacturing. Trump has repeatedly said we need to have manufacturing back in the United States.
Right.
So how do you do that? Well, step one was to reduce corporate income tax in the United States. So it's profitable for these companies to manufacture in the United States, rather than hitting them with 30% tax that they wouldn't have to pay if they went overseas. All right. Yeah. That was step one. Step two is now everyone has to understand there's going to be startup costs to restart manufacturing back in the United States. Well, how do you do that? You do it by protecting these manufacturing areas, specifically steel, all right, so that they can ramp up production.
Well, yeah,
I
and there's
personally
that tax
don't
break for the your capital investments.
Well, but the thing is that the companies themselves don't get a tax break for that necessarily. All right, and to restart up these steel mills, to restart up these plants, there's a lot of startup costs that, yes, in the long term will pay for themselves, but in the short run, it's a negative. Mm-hmm. So how does Trump protect that? Well, Trump protects that very simply by threatening a steel tax, and it does two different things, and even that has two different things, because one, it throws a dagger at the number one problem, which is China. And two, it forces the number two and number three problems, Mexico and Canada, to realize, okay, we'd better start getting serious about talking about NAFTA, which he's trying to renegotiate.
Dude, I just posted a fucking article on the side chat about how our policies fueled Mexico's illegal migration via companies because of NAFTA. It's right here. Another afternoon of fucking that ass. That's the only thing I know about NAFTA. Sorry, I'm a faggot. Anyways, but no, coffee, I will totally get you those pictures.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all that
it's Purdue and Tyson in specific.
Yeah, well, Purdue and is, another chicken slaughtering area, right?
Yeah,
they produce chicken food.
Yeah.
Well, MC, I've been thinking about the tariff issue a little bit more, and Trump did lower the income tax, which I like. And the tariff isn't really the tariff of abominations. I even said that on the Redeye last time we talked about this. So a modest tariff is okay if you start lowering that income tax, which should be 0, by the way. But at least start scaling that back as you raise the fucking tariff. Then I will go along with it.
It's not going to be the economic killer that everyone thinks it's going to be. It's not broad based. It's very selective and it's very targeted. And as long as that's what you're doing with tariffs, there's really nothing wrong with it. Like I was saying last time we had a Redeye, people don't remember this, but I do, right? we basically got rid of Toshiba because what we did was ban Toshiba from selling in the United States for 1 year, just 1 year.
Damn.
And Toshiba basically disappeared from the market for close to a decade in the United States.
Well, yeah, that, and also the only real legal taxation other than property taxes, in my opinion, is the tariff. The income tax is illegal, but the tariff is legal. So they used to run the government. That's why the Civil War was such a big deal, which I'm not even going to get into today. I'm not in the mood for it.
You sure? You did bring it up.
Just when it comes to tariffs.
Okay.
Because the tariff of abomination rose the tariff like for.
We lost him.
He didn't really. This isn't the tariff of abomination.
No, absolutely not. And I understand the protectionism nature here. If we want to be a manufacturing power again, then there's certain things that have to happen, like MC was saying. I don't know all the specifics. It sounds like he's a lot more keyed into it than I am.
I wouldn't say I'm keyed into it. I'm just observing it.
Right.
When you look at things, when you're looking at something that's happening, sometimes there is just a single point, granted. But oftentimes you have to look at it in relationship to a much broader scale. And we America, as Americans, for whatever reason, we've gotten in the habit of looking things in a very narrow focus, right? And because we want things done efficiently and we want things done immediately, all right? So we expect to see immediate results. Well, that's not necessarily a bad idea in everything, but it's not always true in every case. Sometimes when you fix something on a very quick and get it done basis, the long-term consequences of that can be quite negative.
Right.
Right. And that's what you're ending up dealing with. One of the reasons why unions, right? There's a reason why unions were their heyday was in the 60s and the 70s, right? Because that's when they could strike and companies would make whatever deal that they wanted to. But the reason those companies and the reason that those managers were willing to make those deals is because they knew 15, 20 years down the road, when it really started hampering the company, they weren't going to be there. Okay, I won't be there. I won't be in charge. And in the meantime, I had a profitable company while I was running the company, et cetera, et cetera. And then as these people age and as these elaborate and lavish pensions, all right, start being paid out by more and more people, to more and more people who've retired, right. Then the bill comes due and they know, well, where are they? They're on a freaking island in the Bahamas somewhere, drinking freaking Mai Tais because they got paid for running that company very wonderfully. Right. So the long-term consequences of that kind of a deal, while it stopped the strike and the manufacturing and everything looked like it was hunky-dory and looked like it was an efficient decision to make at that point.
Right.
20 years later, 30 years later, it makes that company non-competitive and basically it goes under. Yeah,
they're stealing from the future, and it's kind of that kind of stuff you deal with even on a smaller scale. Like I've been dealing with at work. I can't get into specifics, but it's like, I don't understand why you're even considering X as an option, because you're going to have to come back around behind and do, and fix it. And I just, I'm with you on that same kind of mindset that, people just want to fix it now, so they can say it's done.
Well, take a look at this case that I think that 40 ounce tried to bring up one time, which was this guy in Romania. I think it was either Romania or Bulgaria. Basically, he had gone to Turkey and had been working in Turkey, and his wife had him declared legally dead because he wasn't communicating with his family. So the Turks come up to him and say, "Where's your papers?" He shows the papers. The papers have expired. They kick him back to Romania. So he gets to Romania, but he's been declared dead. So he's like, okay, I'm not dead, but you've been declared legally dead. So the court system, it went through the courts. The court said, The rules are that if to file some kind of false thing or to fix this, you had to do it by such and such a date. You didn't do it. Therefore, we can't change this. And people are saying, well, the court system's just stupid. They knew better than this. No. What they're doing is they're sticking to what the rules are.
Right.
All right. And everyone has to play by the same set of rules. If you think this is stupid, then change the rule. Right. So don't blame the courts for sitting up there saying, you know what, these are what the rules are. Live with them or change them. We don't have the power to change the rules. And this, of course, this poor guy is legally dead now, and there have been people who have been making suggestions that, well, since he's legally dead, the dead can't commit crimes. He should just go on a freaking stealing spree. Yeah. You know what I mean? What are you going to convict me of? I'm dead.
Yeah, I wish we kind of had that same dedication to the law and what's legal, you know, in terms of looking at these federal courts.
Of course, if somebody shot his ass when he was trying to rob them, they could go back and say, I killed the dead man. How can it be a crime?
Well, I mean, since you brought up court cases, there was something that I was debating on bringing up, and I guess I will. The state of Mississippi has outlawed any abortion after 15 weeks. Mm. After that, the only abortion clinic in the state immediately sued the state. Where do you think that's going to go?
It'll probably go up to the federal court system, and as long as the federal court system decides in the correct manner, as determined by the Supreme Court, it'll die there.
It'll be a big fat waste of fucking time.
The Supreme Court does not want to revisit Roe v. Wade in any way, shape, or form. They don't. Now, will this do that? Hard to say. Hard to say.
A big fat fucking waste of taxpayer money.
Well, in my estimation, it's going to save some taxpayer money if the ban goes through, because then the government health care in Mississippi won't have to pay for abortions.
I don't know how it works wherever, but here you have to pay your own shit.
Oregon Health Plan, they pushed through a bill making the Oregon Health Plan cover abortions.
That sounds like a you problem.
That's some Oregon problem there. That's Portland seeping out into the universe.
But I'm pro-choice. I don't give a fuck. I think late-term abortion is fucked up. You should know within like a week whether or not you need to do something about your shit. 15 weeks, 20 weeks is just fucking retarded. Fucking retarded.
Yeah, that's an awfully long time to wait for something like that.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I really don't, and I never will understand it.
That's what? That's almost 4 months.
Yeah, that's the dumbest shit ever. I'm for banning partial birth abortion. I just don't think that abortion in general should be outlawed.
I don't think it should be taxpayer funded. I don't care how you get it. But I shouldn't, like, if I object to it, I don't understand why my tax, either state or federal, should go toward it.
Why? I don't understand why my taxes have to go to schools. I don't have any fucking kids.
Well, there's also
kids.
That.
Fuck your fucking kids.
They shouldn't. Have you not heard my stance on
Shut up!
The Department of Education? Yeah, it's always shut up. It's always shut up. But you're on my show, Wolfshot. Goddamn.
But it's the same fucking libertarian cocksucking bullshit. I love you. I've heard it before. Everything is bad. Okay, we get it. We know.
That's right.
That's my shtick, and it's all freaking Democrats are bad.
All
Get it right.
Clint Eastwood, you need to calm the fuck down. Yell at some gooks. Fucking make sure your Gran Torino's all right.
Get off my lawn.
Best movie ever.
You know,
I haven't seen that.
It really sucks. That
Wait. Coffee. You haven't seen Gran Torino?
No.
Good movie.
Oh my god. You need to go somewhere and watch that movie.
Okay.
I think that I personally think Clint Eastwood's best movie was Outlaw Josie Wales.
Well, yeah,
But Gran Torino is a close second. It really is.
that's where I got Outlaw from. And every other asshole who uses Outlaw.
I was kind of surprised. My son actually wanted to watch that the other night by himself. I mean, I've got it on a DVD, but I didn't expect.
My dad raised me up on Clint Eastwood and John Wayne movies. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, Coffee, definitely check out Gran Torino. It's a really good movie.
Okay. We're gonna have a secret special guest on Man Streaming in 2 weeks, so I've been doing research for that. But
I guess we don't get
it's
to.
like I don't. No, I'm not gonna announce it. But I've just like been so wrapped up in that, and then like I come home and it's like, well, I guess I better continue researching this. I just like I have no concept of what's going on. Like I completely missed that Andrew McCabe got fired, or is going to be fired.
Has been fired.
Has been fired. Okay.
Have you missed Rex Tillerson?
I did not miss that.
Okay, so is it true that Ivanka Trump is going to North Korea to talk to them?
I don't see that as being something Trump would want her to do.
In lieu of Rex Tillerson, because I saw an article. I don't know if it. Let me look this up.
Didn't we talk about them sending what's his face, the basketball guy? Was it Magic Johnson? I don't know.
Oh my God, Dennis Rodman. He should not be allowed back in the country.
Can't they just send him as an ambassador? Did they really need to send Ivanka?
No.
I mean, is Ivanka really that good of a negotiator? What happens if they just decide to capture her? Like, I don't think anyone really cares about Dennis Rodman anymore, but Ivanka Trump?
Do you really think that he would do that?
Who, Dennis Rodman?
No. No, that fat fucking piece of shit commie, you know.
I think that Dennis Rodman that Ivanka is probably more in danger of Dennis Rodman capturing her.
I'm sorry, if they captured Ivanka Trump, he would fucking he would resurrect Chris Kyle from the grave to go after Kim Jong-un.
No, if first of all, there's no way that Kim Jong-un is going to do something like that. The hysteria around that would be rightly so. I mean, there would cease to be a North Korea.
Oh yeah, we would nuke them.
I would think at that point we would even have Putin on our side.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
so I do have one last story that I want to talk about, and it sucks that 40 left because you'll love this one. Facebook has lost, I don't even know, I think at least $2 billion in the last 12 hours over a gigantic data mining scandal. Zuckerberg is nowhere to be seen. He's like disappeared off the face of the earth. Facebook is gonna die, guys.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Did you hear it? Did you hear about that though, MC?
Oh yeah, I've been quite aware of this. Okay. Basically, what happened was
there was a data breach.
They had to come back and admit that no, there was no data breach. This was intentional.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because everybody's been wondering, how is Facebook making money? Everybody's been trying to figure this out. This is how. What they were doing is they said, basically, if you wanted access to data mine our database, all you have to do is pay us this, and then you could sit up there and create an app that does this. All right, and you could tie it into whatever you liked. For example, you could tie it into all these iPhones. So, or not iPhones, but Google phones, right? All these Android phones for part of the Android app, all right? And so as people walked around, you're able to basically get a picture, not necessarily of who's walking where, but of generic patterns people are making, okay? And this could be applied for marketing purposes. Okay, so we see this guy, we see this area heavily goes to these kinds of stores, or we see that these kinds of people basically go to when they go on trips, they visit these kinds of places so they can target ads. Now that's what they said they were doing it for. But lo and behold, one of their quote unquote whistleblowers outed somebody for using this technique, all right, and in funneling this data to the Trump campaign for their marketing research.
Really?
Okay.
Oh.
And then all hell broke loose because it was like, how the hell did they do this? So immediately Facebook put out a little tweet that said, no, this was a breach. This was a breach, until that company basically said, really? Here's the data, because it was all authorized. They didn't do a breach. It was not a breach. This was all how they had designed it. They were well within the rules. And what people aren't telling anybody is, surprise, surprise, in 2012, the Obama administration was using the same thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I bet you know what? I bet this shit goes back to 2004.
Well, it goes back. It probably goes back to 2002, to be honest. Well, it could be 2004 when they first came back and they said, "Wait a minute here, how come the NSA is gathering this data?" And they said, "No, we're not doing that anymore. We're just telling companies to do it." And companies are holding the data for us, and then we're going to mine that data. It probably does go back. It essentially goes back to the Patriot Act, right? And how they were data mining and data gathering. And all of this, like I said, when people started finding out about this, they're looking at this as going, oh my God, these people have all this information on me. People that have been tweeting, hey, I'm over here getting a sandwich. Hey, I'm over here doing this. They're all watching me do this, which it's not quite that nefarious, but in some ways it's even worse. Because you're just a number in the computer, but the reality is that if somebody knows your number, the number they've assigned to you, your UID, your unique identifier, right? Then they can find you. They could track you to do this. They could go back and this is what I've been talking about with the Patriot Act. You guys worry about the surveillance part. It isn't the surveillance that you have to worry about. All right, it's the data storage that you've got to be cognizant of. It's the data storage that's the problem. Right? It's not the fact that somebody could be listening throughout the electronosphere, all right, and then, I can pick up this person's cell phone conversation. It's the fact that they can record all the cell phone conversations and then go back to see what was going on at any point in time. So if you become on their radar for whatever reason, and when I say they, it could be anybody within the bureaucracy, if they have access, they can then go back and look at what you've been doing. If for some reason that person does it, this is one of the things that Snowden was right about but wrong about. All right, which is, okay, there was guys that were, watching their girlfriend's cell phones and they were looking and find out who they were talking to and all this other stuff. Right? Yeah, that's bad. Of course, what Snowden, of course, somehow failed to do was tell anybody the names of people actually doing that. Which is one of the reasons why Snowden should be in jail. Not the only reason, but one of them. If he's this great whistleblower, then why don't you whistleblow? Oh, you probably knew who those people were, and you didn't want to get them in trouble. You're not a hero, Snowden. You're not a freaking hero. Sorry. Quite right.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so I'm debating. I don't even use my Facebook anymore, really. But I might just go get all my old pictures, put them on my computer, and shut down my account. Because, yeah, I don't want them, like, if I do go over there, or I have the app on my phone, it can still track me through the app on my phone, right?
Mad Dodge, it's too late.
Yep.
Data.
They already have it.
No, they already have his data. All those pictures and everything that are on Facebook, yeah, they have them. If you say, okay, I close my account, do you think they erase that? All that data is still there. Now, they won't be able to carry on going forward, granted. All right. But at the same time, they still have all that data. They still own all that data. And they will sell it to whomever they so desire. That's how Facebook was making money.
No, you're right.
Basically selling data mining capabilities to anybody and everybody that was willing to give them money.
No, you're right. And you know what's funny?
Only way, but
I
would imagine it was the main way.
Well, Coffee, you can continue here in a second. I just want to bring this up because it's kind of funny. Just the other day, I got a stupid celebration thing from Facebook, and it was like, "You've been on Facebook for 10 years," and you know that stupid crap. That's pretty much their celebration of collecting 10 years of data on you, huh? Like they've known, like they know me better than my own mother does, probably. Like,
yep, they've been following your cell phone as you walked from place to place, as you drove from place to place. If you have an Android phone, they can go on maps basically and track wherever you were at for at any point in time during the day, as long as
for
you
how
had your
long?
So where you were on that cell phone.
you're an asshole. You know I have a Galaxy. You know I have a fucking Android.
Actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I better switch over to the iPhone like my wife. Like,
Now the
God
iPhone-
damn it,
It's not
now
gonna
I'm
be
really
any better,
paranoid.
man.
Thanks.
No, the
Andy.
iPhone is better in a way, but you got to be aware of it in that the data that the iPhone gathers doesn't get uploaded like Google's Android stuff. All right, so it isn't constantly going straight to a server somewhere. It's being stored locally in your phone. So if the police ever get a hold of that and have to crack your iPhone, they could track where you were, but they actually have to have the device.
Apple is just as bad as Android. You just have to know how to get around it.
They're a little quieter, and they're about selling the data though. They don't sell data to apps to data mine like that.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, but they do sell their data to the government. That's the bad part.
Well, this is part of the reason, like back in, what was it, 2012, I stopped using Foursquare because it's like, wait a minute. Because I start getting like emails and crap from different places that, you know, are nearby places I would visit, but like never went to and never checked in on Foursquare. So this is kind of like the same kind of shit, right? With that was like a rudimentary version of what they're just doing now automatically.
Yeah, the like I said, the iPhones, Apple's has a much broader and more restrictive, rather than broader, more restrictive code of selling data. All right, they don't just sell data off of an app and let an app sit up there and track what's going on. But once again, the fact that they do collect data, they do have that data, and there are entities that they have sold that data to. Now they tend to be people who are willing to pay a premium for it, which basically leaves it as governments. Governments have paid a premium to Apple, all right, to have that kind of data mining capability within those organizations.
Right.
All right, but even when you're doing data mining, when you've got something that broad based, all right, when you've got the ubiquity of cell phones, okay, there's not going to be much difference between the Android users and the iPhone users. So if you're making, marketing ploys and things like that, there's very little that one's going to be an advantage of over the other.
There has to be a way to turn this off, right? I mean, or is this something beyond the user settings?
It's
because
beyond the
every
user
time
settings. Ask Wolfshot. She knows this. It's beyond the user settings. It's in the code, right, Wolf?
Yeah, you've got to basically get inside the Okay. So on an Android phone, when you boot it to it's essentially like when you boot your computer to safe mode, you have to boot your phone to safe mode. And it's essentially rooting your phone, and you have to put in certain codes to to shut certain things off. It's a long and drawn out process, but if you would like, I can take you through it.
Do you have documentation for that? Because I should be able to do that with the documentation.
The only problem with doing it is it could brick your phone. Just like
if I was to load regular Play Store apps, would it see the phone as rooted?
No.
Okay.
Not the way I do it, anyways.
Okay. Well, I also play like Pokemon Go. Would it ruin tracking for that?
I don't think so. I don't play Pokemon Go.
It seems fun.
What is Pokemon Go doing? It's tracking you against a map.
Hey,
I realize that.
MC, but I can get an Articuno.
No, actually, Lukey is the big raid boss now.
Well, I had my height set lower.
It can be shiny, dude.
And if you have an app that's trying to, on your phone, that's monitoring where you're going from point A to point B,
Right.
you're creating a record if it's being stored on a server somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. And like it was probably oh my god, almost like a decade now. Like when I first got like my first smartphone, an iPhone 3G, not an S, but a 3G because it was cheaper. Duh.
You're slumming it up there.
Exactly. No, because I was going to get a BlackBerry. I'm like $99 for a smartphone. I'm like, hell yeah. So I got a smartphone.
Hell yeah.
And dude, no, it literally was revolutionary. It was crazy because no longer did you simply just call and ask if so-and-so was home. You called and asked, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
Different paradigm. But the thing I noticed when I was actually driving with my dad and I was a passenger, I was going by some outlet malls. And when I'm just on that, all of a sudden I'm seeing like connected to Wi-Fi, disconnected from Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. And at that point I was like, having work security, no matter how good a lock you make, somebody will always make a key. I'm like, digitally, I'm going to assume the same thing. So, yeah, we need more cybersecurity.
Yes, we do.
Or better.
I would like to be able to use, because augmented reality is like kind of like a pet project of mine, in terms of just engaging in the sphere there. But it's like, where do you go? Like, how do you set it so that it's only tracking you while you play instead of like all the other times? Like, I don't want to open Facebook in a coffee shop and it like know that I'm there. You know what I mean?
Do you remember how you got around that for Superman?
What?
Do you remember how you got around that for Superman if you didn't want him seeing you?
No.
You line yourself with lead.
Yeah, that's probably not healthy.
I mean, you could build a box.
A Faraday. How about a Faraday cage?
A Faraday cage will prevent any kind of transmissions in and out.
Right.
Well,
God
I shouldn't say prevent. It knocks it down significantly. It's not perfect. No Faraday cage is perfect. Right? If you have enough power, you can blow through anything.
Superman can still see.
Oh, right. Memes is here. Yay.
What's up, Wolf Shot?
What's up? I'm not high as fuck today.
Oh, that's all right.
This is a concern, though. Like, I don't understand. Well, I mean, I understand, like, you click an app, you install it, whatever. It asks for a bunch of different shit. And, like, if you don't say okay to it, like, then you can't use the app.
Here's the thing, man. And this is publicly disclosed. So when I'm watching Fox News and on several bases, essentially what I got from some members of Congress that apparently were on certain committees that I think they remember the bullet points, but they didn't exactly know what they were talking about. Mm-hmm. When I hear fiber optic node, Prism, basically what that tells me is, all right, every single thing said over the internet in the US or any varying waypoint, it's getting copied and stored somewhere.
Yeah, well, I guess the problem there is that it wouldn't even be my phone. It could be someone else's. It could be the fucking TV. It could be the security systems. Like, at this point, there's no escaping the big robotic eye of the U.S. government and
Here's
all the
thing,
companies
man.
mining the data.
Yeah, no, the thing is here. Let's simply release everyone's everything. Let's dox the entire world. We'll see how filthy and horrible everybody is, and then we can move on.
I don't think there would be any moving on as long as.
So basically, you want the South Park Dutch plan or Danish plan.
I haven't watched much since 3.5 seasons in. I assume there's a lot more by now. So no.
Or basically, the guy was doing a massive doxing to get rid of the internet trolls. You didn't see that one?
No.
Oh, they did that in one of the Clerks movies, I think, too, or Dogma.
South Park does one. It's just freaking phenomenal.
The closest thing that I remember was when the internet goes out and was like Stan's father goes insane from lack of internet porn.
Oh God, there was a ghost.
Yeah.
Oh God.
did see that one.
But yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Oh God.
Okay, Mad Dodge, do you have another topic you want to talk about? Or do we just take over your stream and talk about whatever we want?
Yeah, we should just keep doing that.
I was cutting pizza. I wasn't even here, so I don't know. You guys are going off about cell phones. I was like, whatever, I can go cut the pizza.
Yeah, but this should like tickle your libertarian righteous indignation about the things these companies are doing. And I guess you could say without your consent, but at some point you probably clicked something that said, I agree to do this.
Most every one of those contracts is unconscionable in some way, shape, or form.
Well, if you ever try to read one.
Well, and who reads them? Yeah, I was going to say, who reads that shit?
I mean, there was a South Park about that too. Was it the Human Centipede?
Yeah, Human Centipede.
That was a good
Basically,
one.
Steve Jobs, whatever they clicked, they had a volunteer to be a Human Centipede.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one. But
is it inaccurate?
No, it's not inaccurate. And,
okay.
and the thing is it's put in such liturgious language that you don't even know what they're doing. It doesn't really tell you we're gathering data on you. It doesn't tell you while your cell phone's on, after you download this app, wherever you walk, we're making a record of wherever this phone goes and wherever it walks, right? And then matching it up on time of day and time of day.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's doing that. They're not telling you any of that.
Well, that's because that would be concerning
for all of you freaking wannabe criminals out there. Don't carry your cell phone with you.
See. Well, fair enough. They deserve to know, I guess.
That's why you get flip phones. Do they even make those?
Yeah, you can still. Here's the thing: as soon as we went digital, there's a fingerprint on everything.
It's a much harder to do with a track phone.
Yeah. Well, you can't even pay for shit with cash anymore half the time.
Which technically is illegal. That's a separate issue.
Well, that's usually you're just not getting change, which ends up sucking for you.
Yeah.
Well,
but as far as this and that, basically every one of those contracts, you'll go back down to we abide by every single law put forth within this state or commonwealth and the U.S. federal government. So there's a law saying you got to keep and share some data at some point. They're going to keep and share some data.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but it's just as bad when the government is mandating the collection of data.
See, for my thing, my thing is I don't really care. Well, if anything, here's the thing. If anything, I want to be able to use that data to help prove my innocence in case somebody tried to screw me or something. It's no, dude, I literally was not there. See, hey, look at my selfies, timestamped, geolocated.
Yeah, and how effective as clearing your name did that work for the guys in the Duke rape case?
Did it?
All right. Now, granted, they didn't get convicted because they weren't guilty, but their name still got dragged through the mud. They were still basically kicked out of their university on false charges.
Oh, they got railroaded.
Okay, so it's nice that you'd be able to prove yourself, but I mean, after they basically dragged you through the mud.
Oh, wait! We didn't have smartphones then, did we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah. In fact, they were able to prove that they weren't there. They literally weren't there.
Oh. All right. Is that a good thing?
Well, I mean, but their reputations were destroyed.
Oh, that's because we assumed guilt.
Well, it's just that you get a story out on the media, and whether it's true or not, everybody already has this narrative. That's why the news is so dangerous. It's why we're fighting it in the first place. It's because they put false information out there, not caring about whether it's true or not, and people already have this idea of what happened to X as soon as they hear, a town or a situation or whatever.
Well, it's not necessarily fake. It's just that basically their favorite flavor. That's all we do. We just watch what we want to watch now. It's like
Well,
it's a beautiful thing, and it's also a dangerous thing at times.
But you end up with the situation like I've been describing to you about what happened with Bill Clinton when he was the president and the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. Most people still to this day think that it was just about a blowjob. They don't know what really happened, but they still think it's about a blowjob. And that goes for people even on YouTube. I mean, I was listening to H.A. Goodman today, and he basically said, well, there was no crime. It was basically just a blowjob. I beg to differ.
Well, that's what he says.
Okay. Well, no, I mean.
Oh, it's a good meme.
It isn't just that. It's the fact that people have the wrong impressions of what has happened because of the press, because of how the press was playing this. You know, how the press was basically doing things. They went out of their way to protect Bill and Hillary.
So it's okay for Donald Trump to fuck a porn star?
I don't care if he screwed a porn star. I don't care if he got a freaking blowjob from Monica Lewinsky. That was never the issue.
Well, I know, but a lot of people were up
Russian?
in arms about him getting head, regardless of whatever the fuck was going on. A lot of people were calling for his impeachment based on him having a blowjob, regardless of whatever else was going on.
I disagree with you, Woolshot. That's what everybody's impressions, that a lot of people were like that, but that isn't what a lot of people were saying.
Wolfshot, we've come so far.
The media made it like that because they knew that this was a scenario to sit up there and damage what was, so they could help hide what was really going on. This is the problem with the media. Now, were there a couple of people that said that? Yeah, there were a couple of people that said that. They went and found those people so they could exploit that.
So all these moral fuckers way back when crying for...
Show me them all. Start listing their names.
I don't know, the general public. My mother, for instance. My father, for instance. Oh my God, it was so despicable. Blah, blah, blah. And yet we have Donald Trump fucking a porn star. Which, fine, fuck a porn star. Good for you.
To be fair, for as far as any potential relation with Client A and Stormy Daniels, let's face it, the folks that dislike it will believe it, they'll hate him more. And the folks that like Trump will say, hell yeah, Donald, go get him.
No, I don't think they're saying hell, Donald. They're more like, why can you do that, Donald? That's Stormy Daniels is not high on my list of linkable.
And he cheated on his wife. I mean, where are all the fucking...
He's consistently cheated on his wives.
Where is all the
evangelicals?
Yeah, where are they? Where is the moral outcry?
Where were they during the Bill Clinton issue?
He gave him a decent Supreme Court justice.
They were so unpowerful that the crimes that he had been committing, by lying under oath, by telling other people to lie under oath, by taking FBI records and illegally leaking them selectively of people's FBI records to the press so they could defame these people in the press. All of that went to the wayside, didn't it?
Well, somebody should get in trouble for that.
Oh, really? Now, who would get in trouble for it? Oh, that's right. Hillary Clinton has frickin' how many FBI records found in her frickin' in her office?
Hey, I got something on her emails. It wasn't her emails that ran over that bitch in Charlottesville, I'll tell you that.
No, guys.
Sorry.
And they didn't run her over. They just launched her in the air. Get it right.
Yeah, she also didn't slip on them in India.
Those emails just fucking flew out of the goddamn Charger he was driving and ran that bitch over.
The correct terminology would be that the emails gave her a...
Okay, I couldn't hear a word because memes was... I don't know.
The dude committed vehicular homicide. And
could you say it again? I'm sorry, memes.
The emails actually caused a heart attack. They didn't actually strike her.
Okay. So
go ahead, memes. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. But the way I see the election, as far as a meme goes, is at that time my girlfriend had signed up for all the major campaigns, and on the same day, within a very short period of time, the Trump campaign sent us an invitation for an afternoon of pizza and discussion, and the Clinton campaign sent an email asking for money. And that's basically how I took the campaign.
Wait, Trump's campaign invited you to a
Trump
pizza
offered
party.
pizza. Hillary asked for money.
Hmm.
Everybody likes pizza.
Yeah, who's the better candidate? The one with the pizza.
Exactly.
Although you got to be careful with pizza.
You know, I wore a LGBTQ shirt for Trump that my father-in-law gave me, and I wore it, you know, to get a prescription.
Mm-hmm.
And these, how do I put it? PC. African Americans decided to let me know that I'm the reason why the country is the way it is.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, that's cool.
So
I think it's going pretty okay. I don't know.
So has voting for Donald Trump literally turned you into the mounter of Christ upon the cross? Like, is it really that bad now?
I actually didn't vote for Donald Trump, but I do have a Make America Great Again hat and gays for Trump, which is fine. Why
So
not?
basically, she was willing to fund his campaign, but she didn't want to vote for him. She's just like a typical
I actually
corporate
didn't.
sellout.
I
But you
didn't
get
buy
cool
it,
stuff.
but I didn't buy it. My father-in-law bought it for me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wear it just to piss people off.
Oh,
So basically, her vote was purchased.
well, shut. You do realize what you just said. You're going out there to wear the hat to piss people off.
Honey,
It's not her
is
fault
it-
that they're pissed.
But
yeah,
isn't that what they say you're doing?
honey, my whole spiel, my whole existence is to fuck shit up.
Well, you're adorable doing it.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I wear rebel flags. I have a rebel flag tattoo. I have shirts that say fuck on them. I mean,
Triggered.
You rebel.
fight me, bitch. I have a shirt that says fight me. I mean, I'm that's
I miss
my
the 8th grade, man.
that's my MO. I don't know. If that's 8th grade, then that's fine with me. Like, I'm tired.
Just never grow up. These younger generation. Look at what they deteriorated into.
No. Has anyone ever heard
That's
of
the demographic separation, MC.
Has anyone ever heard of Adam Calhoun?
No.
Okay, so he does these videos. He's really cool. He does shit for Grunt Style. I don't know if anyone's heard about that Grunt Style clothing company for veterans.
No.
Okay, anyways, so he basically does funny ass videos. He did the one with Upchurch making fun of Antifa. Yeah. And he was just basically like, you know what? Fuck all you internet trolls. Just fight me. He released a shirt that said, just fight me. And I'm like, I can get down with that.
So what you're saying is we need to bring back dueling.
Nah, I just punch somebody in the fucking face. I don't give a shit.
I
Well-
think we should bring back dueling.
But you could do it legally then, Wolfshot. See, I'm giving you an out.
I don't fucking duel. I'm just gonna come up and punch you in the goddamn face.
I
But
think
you
dueling should-
technically know the law
Really
that's
do.
bad for you.
Well, if you start shit with me, then I mean,
Well, you need reasonable justification. That's why I'm proposing the dueling.
are you trying to give me a slow hand job here or what?
What's
I-
this faggot shit?
I just punch, fight, fuck.
Benny-
That's my
Benny
job.
has arrived.
Hi, Benny.
Well,
Where you been?
Wah, wah,
why I
wah.
can't? Why I can't have my own goddamn life?
So basically, you've been in Austin, Texas, huh?
What the fuck, MC?
Because it's sweet. MC with great power comes a greater responsibility.
MC, remind me to push you down the stairs in your wheelchair.
Pull a misery and lock him in the basement.
Is it bad I have more respect for MC?
You have more respect for me? Why?
I didn't know you were in a wheelchair.
I'm not in a wheelchair, not yet.
Oh.
We just make fun of him because he's fucking old.
Oh, I thought he was like Joe from Family Guy.
You're naked, you strange whore. Sorry.
I think in some ways I'd be quite a bit more liberated if I was in a wheelchair. Be a bad thing for everyone else around me.
But you know,
just be careful with your next tapioca pudding session.
hey Benny.
Might find a little surprise in there.
Benny.
Are you gonna give me an almond, are you?
Benny.
What?
I love you.
I love you too.
Mad Dodge, reset your audio again.
Benny, did you just wake up?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I
Cool.
love everyone.
So, like, I don't
No,
have.
we're not gonna sing Kumbaya.
I don't hate Donald
fuck
Trump.
that.
I was pretty high when I was on that last stream. I'm sorry, but I don't hate him. It's just
Wait, when you say you didn't vote for him, did you just like miss?
no, I didn't vote for him. I voted for the independent candidate.
Not the ones you think about. She voted for, I think, what, Ed McMullen?
Yeah, former.
No, she voted for Joe Stein.
Oh,
That's
fuck
fine.
that Crystal having bitch. Fuck
Crystal
her.
Haven?
What?
Crystal Haven? What?
Yeah, you haven't heard about her shit with crystals?
Crystals are cool.
Oh God.
Like healing crystals?
Yeah, like
Oh God.
Edgar Casey kind of shit. You know what I mean?
You know, she looks like the type.
Yeah, yeah, I would rather put my dick in a fucking blender
I think
than
she has
vote
a
for that
second
bitch.
home in Bisbee.
But no, I voted for Evan McMullen. He was a former FBI agent. You know, he aligned more with what, you know,
He was alright.
whatever. He fucking Mormon.
Oh, poor Mitt.
Oh, fuck Mittens.
He needs. That's why he needs to run for Senate. He needs to like fix his image because
Notice
Donald
where
Trump
notice where he's running for Senate.
Where's he running?
He went back to Utah and is running for Senate in Utah.
Oh, dude, you know why? Because Scott Brown lost when he moved to New Hampshire. He ran for Senate in New Hampshire and then he lost. So Mitt ain't taking any chances now.
Well, I think he has a better chance of it no matter where he would go. The fact that he's a Mormon gives him is not a negative in Utah.
Is he a Mormon? Is he a
Yes.
Mormon?
Yes.
Oh, then why was everyone giving like me shit for Evan McMullen being a Mormon?
I don't know. I
Good.
do think that this has never been said before, as far as that I've seen in any of the mainstream media. But I do believe the fact that Mitt Romney was a Mormon is one of the reasons why he lost his election. Because I do not believe, I do believe that many evangelicals would not vote for him because he was a Mormon.
Mitt Romney was a pussy. That's
He was
why.
he was that too.
He did.
I
They
like
did
Mitt.
not.
But let's be honest. If you take a look at his speech patterns and how he portrayed himself, he was very similar in that regard to George Bush.
You know what? Binders full of women.
Yeah, that
He's embarrassing. He was cringy as fuck, and they did not pick the strongest candidate.
He just couldn't recover because at least Trump would recover and say something else, even if it's completely off the wall. Mitt Romney would just get all fed up. $10,000 bet. Oh, Mitt, that's a lot of money. It's like that's what anybody says to anybody when they're serious about it.
He was a pussy ass bitch. That's just like
I can't
just like
argue.
John
I
Kerry.
don't disagree with you.
Like
But,
John Kerry. Yeah, let's pick John Kerry. Wow. What a fucking winner you are.
He windsurfed once.
Can I get me a hunting license here?
I gotta respect the guy because I love Heinz ketchup.
Dude, if I was legal enough to vote in that election, I would have voted for George Bush.
Dude, you had to have hope because George Bush was literally the worst person in the world at that time, at least when you were coming up from the things that you heard. And then the worst person in the world got reelected until like 2016. And then the worst person in the world gets elected again. I'm seeing a pattern.
You're seeing a pattern for the press, yeah. You guys don't
people
remember.
You try to make fucking Donald Trump look like the goddamn devil. Fucking relax. Jesus Christ.
Dude, this happens in the mainstream media every time a Republican gets elected.
Well, is Donald Trump
scary Republican?
I'm dead
he
serious.
passed tax reform, dude. That's something we haven't had in a long time.
This is why I do not subscribe to a political party.
It's calmed some people down. They're like, well, shit.
Well, it hasn't really. Has it calmed people down? I don't know.
Some of the normies I have to hang out with now.
Well, Donald Trump has literally been Donald Trump for so long. We're now getting used to Donald Trump as president.
I
Right.
guess
It's
I don't
normalized
see
things a
it
bit.
only because my day-to-day dealings are with people that are much older than most of you.
Well, fuck you. You're old.
Yeah.
Well, he works with AARP.
Well, I work with a lot of people that have AARP cards.
I see what you
Not
did there.
everyone, but
Well played, intelligent sir.
It's like on one hand they're cool with the tax breaks, and on the other one they're pissed about Obamacare.
it's kind of like a broad. I mean, it's broad based. It's just I don't know how to describe it. The people I generally talk to and work with on a day-to-day basis.
I just need something affordable for fuck's sake.
How about lower medical costs in general?
You want to lower medical costs? Eliminate the FDA.
That'd be a
yeah.
start.
That would fucking work.
It would.
Oh yeah.
So, how about some 5D chess? If Donald Trump gets a second term, we'll see single payer.
He will
4
get
more
it.
years, motherfucker.
He will get a second term, unfortunately.
That wasn't one of the first things he said when he got in there. We're talking healthcare. He's like, "Well, give everybody Medicare," and people
What?
realized him. Well, Mr. President, that's not your policy.
Look, obviously Donald Trump is gonna get another 4 years. What, you think that dumbass fucking Oprah is gonna do anything? You really think she's gonna do shit?
Freaking
I don't think
Right.
Oprah's going to wants to
Oprah's
run.
Oprah's essentially Donald Trump just as a Democrat.
No,
Pretty much.
No,
No.
come on.
Oh yes. That
You
bitch-
see them
that
go
bitch
toe to
has-
toe. Donald Trump will get so far down into the dirt, though. Oprah couldn't even get black enough to even match it.
I don't think so. I mean, I think Oprah stands a chance. I'm not saying she's going to win, but she does have the money and she does have the influence of people.
As long as she doesn't go down the gutter, she wins.
And she does have the money. You're correct, Bullshot. But
I'm not
she's
saying
also
she's going to win. I'm not saying that at all.
But she also doesn't have the ego Donald Trump has.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think she's going to run.
I don't
could
know
vote for
about that.
Oprah.
It would be a contest to see who could fly around the country the most and have the most.
I'm not saying she doesn't have an ego, but she doesn't have the same kind of ego that Trump does. She really doesn't.
I don't know. She could go black and like, I don't know, fucking. Dude, there is no, I don't believe there is.
Let me ask a question. For Trump is how old? Trump's in his 70s.
Mhm.
He's on his way out. Okay. Oprah is in what 50s now?
Bitch, I don't know.
She's got to be older than that.
Yeah, I think she's in her 60s.
Okay. So
Okay.
I just don't see. I honestly don't see Oprah. I honestly don't see Oprah running. I really don't. I don't think Oprah wants to run. So therefore, I don't think she will. Oprah is Trump and
64.
Oprah have a lot of things in common. One, they both are image people. All right, they are all about their brands. They're all about their image. All right, but Trump's image is this brash, in your face. I can take it all on. All right, Oprah's image is different. It's a much softer image. It's a much kinder image. All right, I don't think Oprah's would be able to go on a campaign trail, right? And it would have to change. She'd have to change her image in order to actually be successful in the political arena. All right. Now, I'm not saying she couldn't do it. I just don't think that she wants to do it. It's because what does she gain from it? Is she going to get any more money?
She gets a
You know what
pain
I
in the ass.
Well, what does Trump gain from it? That's a question to ask in that scenario.
Yeah, that is a good question.
What does Trump gain from it? Look at his family. Look at Ivanka. Look at his son. All right, all of them now are in a better position.
I
So
think he
from
just
a
wanted to
family
be president.
perspective, from a family perspective, he's now set them up in a great position to do things if they so desire. It's given them options that, I mean, they've never had before, especially from a political stance. If Ivanka Trump wants to run for elective office at some point in time, she's got massive name recognition already. And if she becomes part of this and does the thing in North Korea where she goes over and somehow is a diplomat extraordinaire, she then starts to build up a resume.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Okay, and I'm not saying that that's going to happen either. I'm just pointing out these are things, these are avenues that are now open to the Trump family that weren't open before.
Okay.
But Oprah doesn't have any kids that I know of, right?
Right.
Right. So that advantage isn't there. I mean, Donald Trump is setting his kids up for better or for worse. He's setting them up for anything that they want.
Yeah, but do we need another fucking dynasty?
Did he mean to do it?
Am I saying that it's a good thing? No, I'm not saying we need another dynasty. I've been against dynasties for a while. Do they exist in America? To an extent, yes.
Does
I don't know.
anyone else here entertain the fact that maybe Trump was okay in case he didn't win?
I think he was.
No. Well, here's the thing. It's like, he's fucking president of the United States. That's fucking sweet.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Just that moment. It's just like, he looks up. He's like, I got to do this shit now. Basically, it became real.
He obviously can handle it.
But that's another reason why I'm saying this. I mean, that's part of his personality. His bombastic mouth was writing a check that he eventually said, you know what, I've got to cash this thing. And he did, and he was successful. I haven't seen Oprah writing checks with her mouth that she then has to back up later on.
She gives a good speech at the Emmys. Oscars.
Look,
What are the Emmys?
honestly, I don't think there's a strong enough candidate to go against Donald Trump. Kind of like when they put Mitt Romney against Obama, or when they put Kerry against Bush.
Oh, we've still got quite a bit of time.
They just need to make a nega Trump. Like nega duck.
I mean, can you really create an anti-Trump? He would have to be a Trump figure to counter Trump. You know what I mean? Bombastic and whatever, and just it would be
firm and
back
supreme.
to another
There you
vote of popularity, like it always is.
Roddy Piper.
I don't see somebody at this point in time, but the election is a long ways away.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, a lot of things can happen. Trump is in his 70s. He does like McDonald's. He could have a heart attack tomorrow and die. All right. I mean, all sorts of things can happen.
Well, on that note, I do need to wrap it up, guys. I have a lot of people here. And, yeah, I told you before we went on air about my buddy. I think I am going to have to call tomorrow. So he'll be going back to jail. That sucks. But I'm going to wrap it up. Any last thoughts, guys?
Gay.
Oh, well, like, yeah, life happens. Like, I got to
Your
go.
stream sucks. Get better.
Get your pet spayed and neutered.
Thanks for having the join link there in your chat, man.
All right, well, fuck off, Benny. You know? Jump off a bridge. Anyway.
Jeez, jump off a bridge.
Yeah, on that note, we're out of
you're
here.
so edgy. Ugh.
No.
Oh.
We're relaxed.